So now they have a high quality feedback comment that is clear, proximal, actionable, and visible to parents, and it only took 22 seconds per kid using Feedback Factory. Hi team, today we are talking about high quality feedback comments using Feedback Factory. So leave a like on this video if you could, and let's dive in. Feedback Factory is all about this quote from Dylan William, that feedback should be more work for the student than the teacher, for the recipient than the giver. So the first step in that is making our feedback as time efficient as possible, and that's one of Feedback Factory's main benefits. This week I gave feedback to some students on their comprehension skills they used when reading an article. I'd written the success criteria before the unit, as we always should. Check the link in the corner for the video on the power of success criteria if you haven't seen it already. And here's a screen recording time lapse of how long it took me to give feedback on the reading skills of 27 students. And after marking their questions, it took me a little over 10 minutes to give feedback on all their work, including posting the digital comment onto Schoolbox. So now they have a high quality feedback comment that is clear, proximal, actionable, and visible to parents, and it only took 22 seconds per kid using Feedback Factory. Another piece of work that I timed giving feedback for was this Dr. Seuss poetry, and it took just over 16 minutes for those comments with another 2 minutes to post them onto Schoolbox. So that was only 50 seconds per student to give a high quality, effective written comment. Basically, with lots of feedback tools, you either prioritize the speed and efficiency of giving the comments or how personalized and actionable the comments are to those students. If you haven't seen the video on the strengths and weaknesses of common written feedback tools, you can check the video in the corner now. With Feedback Factory, there's much less of a trade-off of those things. Of course, student progress is the main goal that we have as teachers. Feedback Factory takes your comments from empty praise, like well done, good job, fantastic work, and provides students with real learning information that they can use to make progress. And one student I taught who had fetal alcohol syndrome, who obviously struggled with school a lot and needed a lot of support, with the written feedback comments generated through Feedback Factory, she actually managed to score in the top 20% for writing in the nationwide NAPLAN standardized test. Feedback Factory has best feedback practice built in. It uses leveled success criteria so that the next steps for students are manageable and specific. That helps kids focus on just a few areas so that they're not overwhelmed with improvements. Kids can often have negative reactions to feedback, especially if their self-image or self-worth is tied to achievement. Feedback Factory avoids that problem by being strategy and effort focused and promotes a growth mindset in the kids, which makes your feedback that much more powerful. But it's also better for us as teachers too, because teachers who mark every error are no more effective at improving student outcomes than those who only give feedback on what the success criteria are focusing on. This helps us to avoid the praise we can so often default to, and praise with feedback can either dilute the power of the feedback or make feedback have a negative effect. Feedback Factory enables us to give a feedback comment separate to a grade, because the research shows that a grade given with a comment can also dilute the power of that comment. But a comment by itself leads to the biggest learning gains. Feedback Factory makes that possible by focusing on the skill and not the grade. Feedback Factory is also very flexible to meet your needs. The success criteria can either be leveled so that every student can experience a measure of success, or they can all be higher level, just whatever you set. There's room to personalize and add further details or examples to student comments that is only applicable to them. If you're a secondary teacher or giving feedback on work with multiple dimensions, there's lots of room to give feedback on multiple criteria. There's no more finding and replacing text when you think of a better way to phrase something. You just change one of the criterion at the top and then all comments update with the changes. It usually takes a long time to update each parent on the progress of their child, and so we're less likely to do it as often as we'd like. But with Feedback Factory, the time efficiency really enables that to be much more often. When I send out anonymous surveys to parents at the end of a term or a semester, feedback comes back consistently as one of the positives that they appreciate. You can read some of their responses here. There's no more intuiting what the major needs of the class are or using anecdotal evidence. The column for each criteria has a total at the bottom for some quick, objective, formative data. So there you go. That's an overview of how Feedback Factory works and how it might be able to multiply your time, energy, and impact. There is a link in the description to a page on Flurly where you can get various different versions of Feedback Factory. If this sounds good to you, there's a link in the corner and in the description for a walkthrough of how to use Feedback Factory. Application trumps everything, so if you'd like to know more about making your feedback stick and using effective applying feedback lessons and routines, hit subscribe below for when that video comes out. Thanks so much for tuning in. Give some feedback to the like button, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.